Nigger is a colloquial term used in Black English vernacular that began as an dialect form of the word nigger. Usage: in practice, its use and meaning are heavily dependent on context. Presently, the word nigger is used more liberally among younger members of all races and ethnicities in the United States. In addition to African Americans, other ethnic groups have adopted the term as part of their vernacular. There is conflicting popular opinion on whether there is any meaningful difference between nigger and nigger as a spoken term. Many people consider the terms to be equally pejorative, and the use of nigger both in and outside African American communities remains controversial. H. Lewis Smith, author of Bury That Sucker, A Scandalous Affair with the N-Word, believes that replacing the O with an A changes nothing other than the pronunciation, and the African American registry notes, brother and sister are terms of endearment. Nigger was and still is a word of disrespect. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, a civil rights group, condemns use of both nigger and nigger. Some African Americans only consider nigger offensive when used by Americans of other races, its use outside a defined social group being an unwelcome cultural appropriation. Used by blacks, the term may indicate solidarity or affection, similar to the usage of the words dude, homeboy, and bro. Others consider nigger non-offensive except when directed from a non-African American towards an African American. Yet others have derided this as hypocritical and harmful, enabling white racists to use the word and confusing the issue over nigger. Non-rhotic English speakers, such as speakers of many British dialects and African American vernacular English, pronounce nigger and nigger identically, as their accents do not distinguish between these two words. Cultural influence: the term nigger, please, first used in the 1970s by comics such as Paul Mooney as a funny punctuation in jokes about blacks, is now heard routinely in comedy routines by African Americans. The growing use of the term is often attributed to its ubiquity in modern American hip-hop music. Examples include Niggas with Attitude, A Tribe Called Quest, Sucker Nigger. Notorious B.I.G. song, The Realest Niggers. Jay-Z's Jigger That Nigger, Nigger What, Nigger Who and Niggers in Paris. DJ Khaled's One Wish You Would. And Snoop Dogg's For All My Niggers and Bitches. One of the earliest uses of the term was in the 1983 song New York, New York by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Old Dirty Bastard uses the term 76 times in his Nigger Please album. This is reflected in the term's wide use in modern American gang culture. According to a Texas Monthly article about Houston gangs, many Hispanic street gang members call each other nigger. Comedian Chris Rock's routine Niggers versus Black People distinguishes a nigger, which he defined as a low expectation having motherfucker, from a black person. In contrast, Tupac Shakur distinguished between nigger and nigger. Niggers was the ones on the rope, hanging off the thing. Niggers is the ones with gold ropes, hanging out at clubs. Tupac, who has been credited with legitimizing the term, said his song Nigga stood for Never Ignorant Getting Goals Accomplished. Use in trademarks or brand names. The Lanham Act does not permit registration of trademarks containing terms that may disparage persons or bring them into disrepute. Registration by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office of terms that are historically considered disparaging to groups of people has been allowed in some circumstances. Self-disparaging trademarks have been allowed in some cases where the applicant has shown that the mark as used is not considered by the relevant group to be disparaging. In 1995, two Houston, Texas men filed a trademark application with the PTO for the words Naturally Intelligent God-Gifted Africans, and its acronym. The application was rejected, as were numerous subsequent applications for variations of the word nigger. Most recently, comedian Damon Wayans twice attempted to trademark a brand name called Nigger, featuring clothing, books, music and general merchandise. The PTO refused the application, stating the very fact that debate is ongoing regarding ethnic group usage, shows that a substantial composite of African Americans find the term nigger to be offensive. See also: guilty or innocent of using the N-word, reappropriation, Merzin, references. External links: Let's Make a Deal on the N-word, White Folks Will Stop Using It, and black folks will stop pretending that quoting it is saying it. John McWhorter, The Root.